In the streets of Georgia's capital, Tbilisi, a group of masked men attacked journalists from a pro-opposition TV channel during a live broadcast. Just one in a spate of recent attacks reportedly carried out against opposition politicians, activists, and some journalists. The violence comes amid protests against perceived Russian influence in the country. This CCTV footage shows an opposition politician being kicked by some masked men. Koba Khabazi is a prominent member of the Coalition for Change opposition party. He was left with extensive head injuries after being attacked inside the building that houses his party's headquarters.
Of course, the government is behind this, a paranormal government that is pathologically afraid of freedom, democracy, pathologically afraid of human rights. The government is built on violence. Violence and tyranny do not coexist with freedom and democracy.
Georgian authorities have denied involvement in the attacks and have condemned them. Violent clashes in the capital Tbilisi between the police and protesters erupted in recent weeks. The opposition says the Georgian Dream Party's victory in an October parliamentary election was tainted by fraud. The ruling party provoked widespread anger when it announced that it was suspending EU accession talks until 2028. More than 400 people have been arrested during subsequent pro-EU protests, including Marina Tereshvili's son. 75-year-old Tereshvili had already lost a son in 1992 at a nationalist rally in Georgia. Now her other son, Georgi, has been arrested. 7 police cars pulled up at her house on Friday, she said, and took her son into custody.
I can't deny that he went to rallies because he has a brother who died on the 2nd of February 1992, and he went there in honor of his soul. My son sacrificed himself for the national movement, independence, and freedom of Georgia. They fought for the sake of this, and my Georgie can't adapt to the situation now.
Georgie was placed in pre-trial detention for 2 months for participating in group violence, according to a rights group and local media. If convicted, the 52-year-old will face up to 6 years in prison. That's part of a broad crackdown on demonstrators who have clashed nightly with police for almost 2 weeks. Rights groups say the crackdown is without recent precedent in Georgia. The country had been seen as one of the most pro-Western and democratic of the Soviet Union's successor states.